Hey guys, it's me again, Lauren. This is my first video blog and I hope you like it. Bear with the cheesiness because I'm sure there will be lots of that. But I'm trying to get the lighting right. Sorry. It's a little better. I'm kind of pissed off because I just talked to my laptop for about 15 minutes thinking that I had hit the go button, like I thought I was recording and I wasn't. So I felt all proud of myself after bearing my soul in my first video blog journal. So, and then having it go to waste, that's really fun. But I'm going to start again and try and remember everything I just talked about so I can do it all again. But anyways, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to find the best lighting. It's kind of not working out so well. That might be a little bit better. Okay, this is my room at my parents' house because that's where I live right now. And I will get to that and why I live here in just a second. But I wanted to explain why I'm doing this and what what you might get out of it as a viewer and what I hope to get out of it. And basically, this is new for me. I have never really been one to like watch myself on camera and try and be the center of attention and have people act or have anyone film me. So if I act a little bit awkward, it's just because it's kind of weird talking to your laptop camera. Anyways, I'm making this journal for me, but also to share with you my experience as a 26-year-old, kind of going through a quarter-life crisis and attempting to pursue potentially a career in cosmetology to become a hairdresser and or an esthetician. So I will just start back basic. I'll try and make this pretty short and sweet for you guys, but over the last year or so, let's just say I kind of went through a lot for me. Nothing completely crazy or catastrophic happened, but I basically had been planning for a year to move across the country to California and take an AmeriCorps position and have my boyfriend come with me and have it be our thing that we do together. That didn't really work out so well, and for those of you who have moved with a significant other and have had it not work out, you know how that is, and you know what I mean when I say that it wasn't really, that you learn from your mistakes. And but don't move with someone unless you've really taken time to figure out who you are. And I had all these doubts going into it that it wasn't the right thing, but I pushed those doubts away and ignored them because I was being selfish and I think I really just wanted someone to come with me to California because I wanted to go, but I was really scared. And I think I somehow like convinced myself that if my boyfriend and I would go together, it'd be easier. Was not easier. But that's probably just because I kind of picked the wrong person for to be my partner. That's a whole nother story. But anyways, I moved out to Central California last July. I worked there in my program for about 2 months as a literacy tutor, and then decided to move in with my boyfriend who was living in San Francisco or in Oakland, and we shared a studio apartment together, and basically our relationship fell apart, which I am so glad that it did, because had I continued to be with him, I would just be a miserable person. For those of you who know what it's like to feel trapped in a relationship, and once you're strong enough to get out of it, how empowering that is. That's why I'm here now and why I'm grateful for dealing with the shit that I went through. But anyways, he's a great guy. It just, we weren't right for each other. We weren't, our paths, we have different paths. So we parted ways. I moved back to Michigan because I had to get out of that relationship. I moved home. I spent all of my money. I had been saving for a year. I basically spent it all and moved home and thought I'd be, everything would be back to normal, and it wasn't. I'm living at my parents' house, and that was really, really hard for me a big pill for me to swallow at first. And I work 2 jobs. So I'm just saving now and finally taking time to myself to figure out what makes me happy. And as cliche as that sounds, it's just so necessary. And I had never ever really done that before. I was someone who was always in a relationship. I was in a relationship, several long-term relationships back to back without any space to breathe in between each one. And that was a huge mistake. But, nothing that you go through in your life, I mean, we all have regrets, but everything that you go through that creates a really crazy struggle always ends up being the catalyst for positive change. And that's what it was for me. So getting out of, this long pattern of being attached at the hip to somebody else and putting my interests on the back burner, that just being done with that, I totally lost my train of thought, but getting out of that was the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. Finding the courage to be alone. And I never saw myself as one of those, people would say, "Oh, Lauren, you're just afraid to be alone." And I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm good. I'm an only child. I know what it's like to be alone." And I would, say, I'd convince myself that, like, no, that's not me. But I think we all are afraid to be alone, and we're all, afraid of being unhappy. And I was convinced that I would never be happy unless I was with somebody. And that is not the truth. I'm just as happy, if not more happy, in a more pure way now than I ever was with somebody else, because I actually am learning who I am. And that's kind of what this journal series is going to be about. My reflections on being 26 and being single for the first time in my adult life. Literally, I was in a relationship from age basically 9th grade until January of this year, or this past year. But that's a long time to be wrapped up with someone and not putting your own interests first. So everything I did, in my life was always kind of half-assed because my relationship was my number one priority. And for the first time in my life, it's not a priority right now. And that's really opening up my eyes, and it's really opening up a lot of opportunities, a lot of chance for me to kind of throw myself into somewhat scary situations, but things I've always had wanted to do but been too afraid. And I'm realizing that is just you always hear people say do what you're afraid of, and it seems, easier said than done, but it's true. It sucks, but it's true. Like, once you do that thing that you're terrified of doing, like, you feel so good about yourself. But long story short, I'm really busy now just working, and I ran my first 5K because I used to be a runner in high school and quit. That's another thing when you go through a quarter life crisis and you're learning a lot about yourself. You start having all these realizations about, who you are and the patterns you've had in your life since childhood. And I really realized for me that one of my big issues was quitting things when they got scary, or, avoiding things that were challenging, that would put me in a challenging position. I would just either quit or, I would quit them. So right now it's really awesome because I'm doing all the things that I've wanted to do or used to be good at but quit, running. I used to be a great runner, and I just ran my first 5K about a month ago. I intend to run more, and I'd like to run a 10K too. I'm a sprinter, so 10K is kind of daunting, but I think I can do it. What else? I immersed myself in my group workout class, Turbo Kick. It's super fun. I love it. I used to do it a little bit, but then stopped doing it. And I just got back into it a couple months ago, well, like 6 months ago. I go regularly, and I even got certified as a Turbo Kick instructor. I haven't led any classes or taught yet. I just have too much on my plate, but now I have that ability if I ever want to. And it was more for me just doing the training and signing up and going through with it and not quitting. That was my test, and I passed the test because normally I would be too afraid, and I did it. So that's been pretty awesome. I started dancing again, and it's really not serious dance. Obviously, I'm 26. I'm a little old to dance seriously, but I take 2 classes. I take hip hop and jazz class, and that's every week I do that, and that's been a really good learning experience for me. The first day I felt like an idiot and was really scared and awkward, but I had this like voice in my head that was like, Lauren, like, you want this, you want to do this, you love to dance, like, don't quit now. And I finally just I didn't quit. I kept going. So I've been really active, and that just feels good that I'm doing all the things that I never did, and I'm proud of myself for that. Whew, I've been rambling a lot. I'll be done soon, but what I was going to talk about was where I'm at with this whole cosmetology thing, and give some insight eventually to you guys as to my process of pursuing this career. And I've worked at an Aveda salon in my hometown for almost 2 years. And I never would have thought that I would decide to actually become a hairdresser. But it's funny how things work out. You know, one thing leads to another. And at one point I thought I wanted to go to massage school. And then I realized, like, why would I do that when I have all this experience in a hair salon? And I love working for Aveda and working with Aveda products. Why would I do massage when I can, it just made more, when I could make more money doing hair. So that was, I ultimately decided recently, well, not recently, the last couple months I've been mulling it over, but I've officially kind of decided within the last couple months that I'm going to go to an Aveda Institute and get licensed in cosmetology. And I would really like to go back to the Bay Area where I spent time last year and go to the Institute in San Francisco. So that's where I'm at right now. It's a little bit of a fantasy, and part of this journal will be documenting my ups and downs in pursuing that dream, and hopefully shed some light on the whole process. So right now I've just been not interviewing. Well, I've done had a few phone conversations. I don't know why I said interviewing, but been speaking with some of the coordinators out at the Cinta Institute, the Aveda Institute in San Francisco, and I actually saved up enough money to plan a trip out there next week, and I will be visiting the Aveda Institute out there, meeting some people and getting a tour, and basically taking the first step to see if that's what is right for me, and that if that's what I want to do, because it's scary. I've been kind of obsessing about San Francisco ever since I came back, because part of me feels like I never really gave it a chance because of my relationship drama. And after kind of conquering myself and conquering a lot of the demons of like my breakup, I realized that I do want to be out there. I do want to be in an environment that is inspiring and high fashion, get out of my bubble. I've lived in my hometown for 26 years, pretty much, minus, a couple months here and there doing other things. But I never really thought that I would want to live in a big city, or that I'd be that person to say, I have to go to New York, I have to go to Chicago, I have to move to San Francisco. I was kind of a simple girl, and I really love my town, and it's, gotten ranked on a lot of lists for being the best place to live, and one of the best places to live in the United States, actually, Ann Arbor. I just read the other day that we surpassed Cambridge and Berkeley in a ranking of the country's most educated cities. So that's kind of cool. Like, lots of smart people here. It's very beautiful. Lots of trees. Ann Arbor, the town of the trees. So we're kind of spoiled in the summertime with how beautiful it is. And I've always kind of, my heart has been here, and I've never, up until recently, wanted to go anywhere else. But I think now that I've been challenged, and I've learned what it feels like to kind of, for the sake of this conversation, fail, and I'm aware of the ups and downs that are involved in moving across the country, and it's not just like this, oh, like, I'm gonna move to the big city and I can't wait. Like, it's pretty real. Shit gets real. You gotta find a job and make new friends and learn your way around a new city. And if you're used to, like I am, driving your car everywhere in California, it's not the same. Like, I live in a town where I can get everywhere I need to be, whether it's dance class, working out, going to the bar, going grocery shopping, going to the doctor's office. Everything is literally maybe a 10-minute drive from my house. So that's new, that's challenging to if and when I decide to go back to the Bay Area. It's so crowded there. Like, it doesn't seem like the same. There's not a lot of open space, which was hard for me to deal with last time when I was like going through my shit. But I know that, so what I'm saying is, going out there for my visit next week is kind of a test for myself to see how I feel when I'm back out there, and to see my response and reaction to being in a city that, might bring back a lot of memories of ex-boyfriend and being depressed and socially anxious and trapped. So I hope I don't feel that way when I get back out there, but that's kind of what I want to see, and see if all of this is kind of just a fantasy or if it's a reality. So we'll see, and I'll update you on how that trip goes, because I'll be in San Francisco, which is awesome. So you'll hear about that. But I just think it's time, to move on. I think everyone should challenge themselves, and for me, like, living in a new place, I'm an only child, that's a challenge, but I'm willing to take that on if that's my path and my calling, and I'm ready for it. So that's where I'm at now, and if I decide not to go that route, then I'll probably stick around here and go to school in Ann Arbor, but I really would like to go out there. So until then, I'll be working and saving and continuing to conquer my fears and learn about myself and try new things and stay active and run and dance and all these wonderful, joyous things that make me happy to be who I am. So, in the first video I did that got cut off, I explained a lot more about why I think what led me to deciding I want to pursue cosmetology in hair. I don't want to get too into that because I'm getting burned out right now, and you probably are too, because we're going on 20 minutes here. But I wanted to be a therapist for a while. I wanted to go into social work, and I wanted to go to grad school and get my master's in social work. And ultimately, I decided against that. Maybe I should save this whole conversation for my next video when I have more energy. But I think it's really neat that as a hairdresser, you can kind of, I won't say be a therapist, but you learn a lot about people. And I realized that after going through what I've gone through and thinking, that I'm a socially anxious person, and realizing that I'm not. I was just in a bad place and really unsure of who I was and lost. That I really like people, and I like hearing about other people's lives I'm kind of a nosy person, I realized, and a curious person, and I like to find out about other people's lives, and I think that doing hair is like the perfect opportunity to just kind of be that person, to ask questions and learn about the way other people live. And it's hard work. I'm definitely aware of that after working for 2 years as a receptionist at a salon. I'm aware of the hard work that's involved. But I like how you have the freedom to creatively express yourself and make someone else really happy. And I just think the salon environment is one that I enjoy, because it's really high energy and creative and fun, and at times a little overwhelming, but I'm a really kind of hyper person when it comes down to it, and I think I'd be really, I'd feel at home in a salon running around like a crazy person. I think I could pull it off. So I'll talk a little bit more about what brought me to this decision in the next video, because right now I'm getting tired, and I'm sure you are too. But I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I didn't bore you or weird you out or whatever. But tune in next time for, oh, I want to show this too. I bought this today. This is a blow dryer necklace, which kind of is symbolic for obvious reasons, but I decided today would be a good day to start this video journaling and discuss my hair aspirations. So here's my blow dryer necklace. I hope you appreciate it, because I do. Anywho, ta-ta, bye-bye.
Yeah, now in the world full of pain, hard struggle and stress, the Buddha say it's all suffering, I'm still here blessed. Just to breathe, please believe I'm way out west, Oakland to be exact, where the pimps still rest. And the mean mugs and thugs who test your chest. It'd be so easy for me to be a pessimist, but I'm still here rhyming, still chalk climbing.